Welcome to the Soccer Huddle. This is your boy, and I am back. And as promised, today I've got you guys what we call what went wrong, or what went right, or what's happening, or how far are we? Let's just put it, how far are we? We look at the last season top six, and obviously Ngashima United. But yeah, I picked a few. Let me know in the comment section if I should add a few more. But I picked a few that were in. I picked six teams. Is it six? Let me see. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. I picked eight teams in the EPL, and I want us to discuss, to digest today. What is it that went wrong? What is it that went right? And let's just have a conversation. Obviously, Man United is gonna be there. Even though we didn't play in Europe, but the teams that I put in are in a European Championship, or European, what is it called? European leagues. And last season they were the top teams in England. I would add one more, but I'll let you know at the end of it. So we start off with Spurs. Let's look at Spurs this season. They're currently sitting in 17th position on the log. They've got 30 points, 7 wins, 9 draws, and 15 losses. And they are about to appoint their third manager of the season. Rumor has it Roberto Di Zerbi is on the brink of signing for Tottenham Hotspur. You look at the money they've spent. They've spent lots of money. They bought in Abu Chavi Simons. They bought in Bokolo Moani. They both obviously tell on a permanent deal. They bought Paulinho on a loan deal as well from well, they invested, and they got Thomas Frank, one of the most exciting coaches in England last season, and they got him after they got rid of Ange, who won them the Europa League. They said, we don't play that game. We want something new. We want fresh ideas. So let's look at the positive before we go into the negative. So the positive is they've got decent attacking numbers. As I said, we looked at the transfers they were dealing. Most of them are taking players like Botele, Bo Kolomwani, Bo Javi someone. So they've got 40 goals. 40 plus goals they've scored this season alone in the league. So you can see when it comes to scoring goals, they're not struggling. They're not struggling in terms of scoring goals. You look at the number one team in the league, which is Arsenal. They've got 61 points, so it's about 21 goal difference. So they're not struggling in terms of that. If you look at them, they're not even the least goals scored in the league. So they've got decent returns when it comes to attacking. And you look at their style of play as well. Sometimes it is entertaining. Sometimes it is like they're just there to fill in numbers. Sometimes they give performances where we all like, hey man, what's going on? Where has this Spurs team been all this season? And you look at the performance, I think against Liverpool, where they got a draw just before they got this, yeah, the manager got sacked. And you look at that performance, you're like, yeah, where's this Spurs team has been all this season? And I think there's something that they're struggling with. And I think you look at the negatives, as we move to the negatives, you look at their defensive record is so bad. They've conceded about 50 goals. 50 goals in the league. They've got too many losses. They lack consistency. And as to add two more points to that, they struggle at home, and they change managers like they're changing underwear. They struggle at home. I think someone wrote for it. Spurs are gonna have as much managers this season as they have home wins. I'm not sure if that is correct, but if it is not okay. It is not a perfect record to have as a team at home, which means they haven't won 3 games at home this season. They've only won 7. So which I know in on the road they've been good, especially when season into Thomas Frank. They were decent and away from him. They were so decent away from him. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're right, but you never know. So yeah, those are Spurs positives and negative, and how far they've become, or how far they've come. They lying 17th position. They've got 30 points, and they are a point away from relegation. They are a point away from relegation. Is Roberto De Zerbi the right person to guide Spurs out of the relegation battle and into maybe next year a team that we've all seen over the years who has been competing and who's been knocking on that top 4 position. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. So let's move on to our next team, which is Newcastle United, the boys from St. James's Park. Let's start with the negative. They can't score. Spurs can't not score. Newcastle can't score. They've got a front line of Ilanga. They've got a front line of Anthony Gordon, Murphy, Baines, Valdemeda, Wisa, and the last guy. I'll get him now. He was in the. I will get him now. So they've got a decent front line. They've got a decent front line, but for somehow they can't get the right combinations going. They can't get the right combinations going, and if you can't get your combinations going, it means the chemistry in your front three or front four, whichever you wanna put it, because every time you're chopping and changing. Valdemera looked like he's gonna be a decent signing as the season started. I personally love him. I love his runs, I love his build-up play, I love his hold-up play, and I think he is a decent striker. Still young though. He's a decent striker. Obviously, but regularly Wisa from Brentford to replace Isak. Remember, those are big shoes to replace. Last season they got rid of Isak. They've got rid of Wilson as well. So those were big shoes to fill. And so far, my honest opinion, those two haven't lived up to expectations. Ilanga's form here last season hasn't transferred to this season. Lena, he's been struggling. He's been struggling a lot. I think with Champions League, that is where maybe he is most effective. But in the league, he has struggled a lot. You look at the defensive inconsistency. Also, you put in the injuries that they've had. I think Wulus Hall, Livamento, Ban as well. They've been injured so long this season that how couldn't even put up 11 against Savannah. So that also plays, and you look at that, how a team at the Champions League football and league football didn't manage to strengthen their squad, given they know how many games they have played, and given how this season is going to be a very short season, given also the World Cup at the end of the season. You must invest in your team, because otherwise you're going to have issues where you do not have squad depth, or lapisa your players that they get fatigued and they get injuries all the time. So this is like just also to the teams that are going to be in next season's Champions League, like my team Man United. Squad depth is not a need, it's a want. It's important. It's important. The mid-table drop off this season, they've dropped. Obviously, they're sitting in 12th position because, as I said, for me personally, it's because of the squad depth. They couldn't handle with Europe and they couldn't handle with the league. Remember this, it's tiring, guys. It's whether we like it or not, it's tiring. And sometimes these days, Pep Guardiola, since Afitako, the English Premier League, he has made every trophy available as important as the league. Before Pep, I know, before Pep, Ferguson, Wenger would play a B team, stream team, go Champions League, or in the league, if there's an important game but over the weekend, he would play a B team and reserve his team for the important game. But these days, every single game, these teams put out their best players. Look at it. And look at Newcastle. Squad depth, someone as we mentioned, it's very, very low. And they played until the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. They are still in the FA Cup. They went into the quarterfinals of the Champions League. You see, those are plus minus 60 games already they played this season. You look at the positives that they have. They've been physical and intense. Look, I've always said this, midfield, especially the midfield one, Newcastle, even the defense, Oliver Ben, always Tau, one of the best signings this season. And you look at their midfield of Joe Linton, you look at Tonali, you look at Bruno G. Those boys or those guys are very physical. How in Newcastle, especially when at James's Park, they like the first few minutes they will make you feel like I'm at war here. The crowd is always on their side. They're gonna give you the pressure. Remember the game they played against Barcelona? They were unlikely to lose that game because again they didn't take their chances. But you look at the intensity they played, you look at the strength that they had. I'm telling you, if only. And remember, Newcastle are the richest team in the league, but they cannot spend their money. If they can be able to spend that money, I'm telling you, we are in for a ride. So we move on. Shall we move on? Yes, we move on. We move on. Current league champions or former league champions, however you wanna put it, Liverpool FC. I think a lot of people, Barra Slot is a fraud. Last season, Barra he didn't win the league. He just adopted a team. Elo Horeng was on the verge, or was just they needed just a little to win the league. And you cannot dispute that with those people because you look at the results of this season, you look at what happened this season, and you look at the amount of investment that happened this season as well, and you would be like, they might be onto something. But you look at also the players they've lost. Rest in peace, Diogo Jota, very important player to them. They've lost Nunes, they've lost Luis Diaz. I think Luis Diaz and for me Jota were the most important players they've lost this season. They haven't recovered from the loss that Diogo Jota. I don't think they did. Emotionally, I don't think they did. And it doesn't help that it's a good gesture. Every 20 minutes, there's a standing ovation, a clapping of hands, remembering their fallen hero. Good, very good gesture. But if players haven't gotten over that moment or over that period, the mourning period, every time that 20 minutes or in fault, they become reminded, overwhelmed at times. I know a lot of people can say they are professionals, but guys, we are human beings and we are emotional beings, and we cannot perform at our best if emotionally we are not there, if mentally we are not there. Let's look at the negatives. They've dropped so many points because of their defensive problems. People were even questioning or Van Dijk, Vele, is he as good as you guys make him to be? Is he overrated? Because of the inconsistency in the beginning of the season. I remember they tried to sign Magui from Crystal Palace. Until the last day, they couldn't get him in. And you look at Frimpong and Kekes as well. They haven't really, they lost trend as well. They haven't really adapted into the team. Frimpong hasn't really adapted for me personally into the EPL. You look at Kekes, he's been playing in the EPL, but he's playing a different role for Liverpool than the role that he was playing go Bournemouth. The chemistry was not there anymore. Alisson, the pillar of strength, Elohorn, they knew they could depend on. The first part of the season was injured. It wasn't working. It wasn't working at all. You look at also, they've been inconsistent. Whether it's the whole team or individual players. You look at Mo Salah this season. He's a shadow of his former self. You look at Gabko this season. Same. The only player for me for Liverpool that has raised up their hand this season is Szoboszlai. Vet started off badly and then he picked up a bit of a momentum. He got injured. He's never gone back again to where he was. The whole team, it hasn't gelled yet. It hasn't performed to the level that it is supposed to perform. Expectations were so high when they bought all these players, but again, it's the same that if you listen to what I've been saying, there's always a theme, and it's team chemistry. If there's no team chemistry, and it's very difficult for a team to get points or to get results unless there's like a individual brilliance from a player, which in the past was Mo Salah. But he's not there anymore. You look at the positives; they're very dangerous when they are attacking. They've got the high press, and they are capable of beating any team on their day. Liverpool, I'm telling you, on their day, they look. We say dangerous attack because we look at the individual that they have. Ekatike started like a house on fire. Now his form is dipped. Mo Salah, we know the quality of Mo Salah. Gapco, we know the quality of Gapco. Vets, we know the quality of him. That's why they went and bought him, cut that amount. We know those players have got the quality, but to get them to gel and to be one and play has become a problem this season for Liverpool. And hence, for me, that's why they're sitting in 5th position and not fighting for the champion. Not fighting for the championship. They've struggled as well in the Champions League, been eliminated. Let's move on to the last team of this section. I have 2 sections of my where are we session. We go to the Bafana Costanzo Bridge, Chelsea Football Club. I think the biggest negative at Chelsea Football Club was letting Maresca go. Maresca was not the best. Look, we've sat here, we've criticized him, but he was not the best. But I think that was a mistake from Chelsea, letting Maresca go. Because what did they get? It's not an improvement. Instead, they're tipping. So you look at more the defensive instability. They still lack experience and inconsistency. The biggest thing with Chelsea, it's the experience of the players. People will tell you in a football club you need the balance between experience and youngsters. You cannot have young players with the potential to become great. They need the experience to show them the ropes. What's going on? You need that balance. And in Chelsea, they don't believe in that. They buy young players for the contract at 8-year-olds as well. You give someone a financial stability for 8 years, and you expect them to perform. I don't think so. I think that has lacked, and it has showed this season, or inexperience will never win you something. You look at the managers for inexperience, Liam Rose. No disrespect to him, but to coach a team like Chelsea, in one of the biggest, most difficult leagues in the world, it's not child's play. But let's look at the next thing, the positives. They've got a strong attack. They've got a squad with young potential. Yes, they've squad Savona. If you put them one by one here, I could tell you that one has the potential to become the future Ballon d'Or winner. You look at Palmer, you look at Neto, you look at Enzo Fernandez, you look at Caicedo. They've got that potential. But for now, Joe Pedro, for now, we need people who are ready now to win this game. We need players to win us now. But obviously, if you look at the league title, the league table will tell you something different. They've improved from last season. But they're still inconsistently disappointing. And a lot of Chelsea fans would actually agree with me. But those are my 2 cents. I've laid the foundation. Let me know in the comment section, you guys. Or Lena, what do you see? What are the positives? What are the negatives? And yeah, let's see how far we get. Second part, it's coming up. It's got the top 4. The current top 4. Arsenal, City, Aston Villa, and Manchester United. Remember, like, share, follow, and subscribe. And until we meet again, prevention is better than cure. Don't risk it unless it's worth it.